Welcome to our annual Arbor Day recognition event. It is a great day and there's no rain, so yay. My name is Kim Curry. I'm with the Avon Lake Tree Commission. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to our guests and dignitaries, including Mayor Mark Spetzel of Avon Lake, Councilwoman and Tree Commission member Jennifer Fenderbosch, Public Works Director John Liskovac, as well as present members of the Avon on the Lake Garden Club and the Avon Lake Tree Commission, Katie Downing, Sue Newcomb, Council President Jennifer Fenderbosch. Also members who are absent today are Amanda Burns and Terry Robinson. Additionally, we share in the management of this busy park with Bay Village, represented by Mayor Paul Kumar, Director of Service and Properties Mary Kay Costello, Urban Forestry Manager David Robinson, and Bay Village Tree Commission Chair Nick Dios. Today we celebrate Arbor Day, which originated when pioneers settled in Nebraska, where trees were once scarce. They needed trees for windbreaks, fuel, building material, and shade. J. Sterling Morton, a Nebraska City newspaper editor, passionate about trees, proposed a tree planting holiday during a State Board of Agriculture meeting on January 4th, 1872. The first Arbor Day was celebrated on April 10th, 1872. And now it's recognized in all 50 states and 32 countries. Arbor Day highlights the many benefits of trees, which go beyond aesthetics and shade. This year, Avon Lake proudly marks its 33rd year as a certified Tree City USA, reflecting our commitment to public tree care. Additionally, we have received our third consecutive Growth Award from the Arbor Day Foundation for our efforts in enhancing public tree conditions. The Avon Lake Tree Commission acts as our city's governing body, focused on promoting and advising tree management efforts. Recent and upcoming tree activities of the Tree Commission includes awarding a tree to Gaz Gilmore. He was the raffle winner during the Harlem Wizards community game held on February 17th. Some members of the Tree Commission visited his home, and he will soon receive a magnolia tree. The Tree Commission is contributing 75 redbud seedlings to the Avon on the Lake Garden Club for free distribution at their annual plant sale on Saturday, May 10th at the Goddard School, located at 430 Avon Belden Road. This year, the Tree Commission will participate also in the Avon Lakes Kiwanis Fall Fest on Saturday, September 27th, where we will host a raffle for 25 potted redbud seedlings. The proceeds from this raffle will benefit the Avon Lake Kiwanis Scholarship Fund. Additionally, the Tree Commission is in the process of creating a legacy tree program. Today, we will learn the proper method to plant a container-grown tree, after which we will proceed to mulch the 6 trees recently planted. 3 shagbark hickories donated by Avon on the Lake Garden Club, and 3 catalpa trees provided by the City of Bay Village. First, however, we will hear from Mayor Mark Spetzel, who will present the Arbor Day proclamation.
Thank you, everybody. It's great to be here. Thank you for everybody. Wonderful Arbor Day. I have a proclamation I'd like to present. Whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture established a special day to be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can be a solution to combating climate change by reducing the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling costs, moderating the temperature, cleaning the air, producing life-saving oxygen, and providing habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of the business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And now, therefore, I, Mark Spetzel, Mayor of City of Avon Lake, do hereby proclaim April 25th, 2025 as Arbor Day in the City of Avon Lake, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. Further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Signed by myself this day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, we will move to the tree planting ceremony, and it will be led by urban forester David Robinson. But just before we do that, we would like to thank the Garden Club for their generous tree donations, and wondering if Mary Ann Stern would like to say a few remarks.
Okay. All right, I'm Mary Ann Stern, a member of the Avon on the Lake Garden Club, also a member of the Tree Committee of the Garden Club, along with Diane Deasy, Pam Hoffman, and Jennifer Fenderbosch. Our garden club is 95 years old this year and began its commitment of planting trees in Avon Lake in 1932. We planted a Washington bicentennial elm tree on the grounds of the newly built Avon Lake High School. Well, it was the Avon Lake School at that time. It's now the Avon Lake High School on Route 83. Our club has noted in their historical records over 86 trees planted around Avon Lake in civic gardens, schoolyards, parks, and on the occasion of Arbor Day through the years. The club was also involved in donating and advising what trees to plant for project growth on the Interstate 90 when that was put in years ago. Most recently, we planted a bur oak, white swamp oak, ball cypress, and 2 chestnut oaks in Miller Road Park. We are pleased to add 3 shagbark hickory trees to replace the shagbark hickories that had to be removed during renovations here in Walker Road Park. The shagbark hickory tree is a native tree, can be found all throughout Ohio. These trees can grow up to 100 feet in height with a canopy of 45 feet. The nuts provide food for squirrels, mice, chipmunks, and deer, and the leaves can be eaten by certain moths. The shagbark provides summer shelter for bats. They crawl up under the curls of the bark and sleep during the day and go out at night to eat the insects. In addition to our dedication of maintaining 10 civic gardens in Avon Lake, we are proud to continue the tradition of adding to the tree canopy in our city.
Thank you, Mary Ann. I'd also like to turn the mic over to Bay Village urban forester David Robinson, if he would like to say a few remarks.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm David Robinson, Dave to my friends, Urban Forestry Manager here at Bay Village. It's a pleasure to be here at the Walker Road Park on Arbor Day as we celebrate our shared commitment to the environment. Today, Bay Village and Avon Lake come together to plant trees that will stand tall for generations to come. Bay Village is planting northern catalpas over in the far corner, and those are known for their striking flowers and broad leaves. Our partners in Avon Lake are planting these shagbark hickories, majestic native trees. Some of them you see the mature versions of there in the woodland. They'll support wildlife and enrich our natural landscape. Thank you to everyone who've made this collaboration possible. Together we're growing more than trees. We're growing community, resilience, and a greener future. You'll notice that these trees that are planted here come in this big container, whereas the trees over in the distance are what we call ball and burlap. So as we gather to plant these great shagbark hickories, I just want to speak briefly about why we've chosen the container grown trees and some things you need to keep in mind. So container planting has great advantages. It gives you flexibility. You can plant a little beyond the normal planting times, and these trees will experience less transplant shock. They're in their home from the nursery to the planting site and never disturbed, because everything they've got, everything they've had is in that container. That helps develop strong, healthy root system, and it's especially important for slower growing trees and trees that have a delicate taproot, oaks, shagbark hickories. If you damage the tap, you can really inhibit the tree's ability to grow into a large specimen in the future. There are challenges too. When the trees stay in these containers for too long, the roots start to circle in some cases. Some containers help to prevent this, but it's something to be aware of if you buy container grown trees. When you come to plant them, those roots may need loosening a little. Sometimes as well, they'll need a little extra care, especially when it comes to watering. They haven't had life outside of their container until we plant them, and they just need to get used to that new environment, so a little more watering than maybe a field-grown ball and burlap tree. With the right attention, these trees will thrive. Today we're giving them the best possible start with our arborists and our tree commission partners in Avon Lake and here with Bay Village also. Thank you to everybody, and thanks for the shared commitment to our environment.
Got it? Yep.
How heavy?
About 100 pounds.
So these trees come in all sorts of different size containers. 20 gallon, 25 gallon is this?
Did you get the handhelds?
Oh, absolutely. Is that a little better? So you notice that this container is quite large, and the guys said it's pretty heavy. So the tree containers come from 1 gallon size all the way up to this big one, which is 25. If you're looking to plant trees at your house, obviously you need to be picking a tree that's a little more friendly for picking up. This one needs a lot of friends and a big car. So this tree is most likely, I'm going to say, 4 to 5 years being grown. They start off as like a transplant type seedling, and as they're grown on, they are put in a slightly bigger pot and a slightly bigger pot. And this may have been in the field environment, not they obviously are in the pot, but they're all laid out fairly tight together to encourage them to grow up pretty quickly. But I'm going to say probably about 5 years.
Dave, explain why they're loosening up the roots around the outside.
So if you notice at the top of the tree, the trunk gets larger and spreads out. That is the root flare. And when we plant the tree, we need to ensure that that root flare is even with the grade, i.e. the level of the ground. in a lot of cases, that root flare won't always be visible right out of the nursery. It may have some dirt piled up on top of it. So what they're doing is just moving some of the dirt away and exposing that root flare to ensure the tree can be planted at the correct height. If the tree is too high, it'll struggle for water. If the tree is too low, it'll also struggle for water. By putting the rake over the top of the tree root ball, they're identifying if the tree is too high or too low, and making sure that, again, that root flare is even with the top, even with the grade. Another thing they're looking for while they're doing this work is roots that are circling. Roots that circle over time slowly strangle the tree, and they should be going outward from the tree rather than around. Because it's in a container, some of those roots tend to circle around the container, so they may need a little root pruning with a pair of hand pruners, or just teasing out and showing the right direction that they should be going. You can see how rapidly this tree gets planted. So when we look at container grown trees, it is a pretty quick process. You can buy one, bring it home, dig your hole, have a friend dig it for you. And then not long after, you've got a tree ready to start flourishing.
Why did he take the air pockets out when he stepped around it? Why did he take it?
So we want the soil around the tree to be firm but not overly compacted. Where we have those air pockets or spaces, those tend to be problematic. You can get waterlogging in the root system. Water will collect in there. Same, you maybe get areas of roots that aren't in contact with soil, and those roots won't be able to feed the tree. So firming that up. We also want to make sure the tree, when we have a bit of a windy day, which we had a windy day last year, and we want to make sure that that tree is nice and firm in the ground. We want to make sure that that tree has a little wiggle though. If the tree is not allowed to move, the roots in the tree get lazy and they don't extend out as far. So we want to provide a little support, a little firmness, but still allow the tree to move, and that creates reactive growth. The tree adds additional wood on the sides of the tree where the wind is coming from, and also it'll put more root growth to help feed it and also to support it.
I have a question. Usually after people plant something, trees, shrubs, whatever, they like to put mulch on top of it. Any suggestions about how that should be done or not done?
Yeah, so mulch is a wonderful product, but a little goes a long way. We want to protect the top side of the soil, stop it from drying out, so that mulch does that job for us. If we volcano mulch, however, where the tree is buried in this big mountain of mulch, that creates a big problem for the tree. And rotting of the trunk can occur. A secondary root system can suddenly appear, and then we have girdling issues, so on and so forth. So we want somewhere in 2 to 3 inches of mulch, and not right up to the trunk. You want to leave a little bit like a donut. So we don't want it to touch the tree. Those parts of the tree are not designed to be in contact with the soil. They're designed to be in contact with the air. So keeping the mulch back from the root flare allows the trunk of the tree breathes. There's lenticels, they open and close. You have gaseous exchange. And if you cover it all up with tons of mulch, the tree's not going to be a happy camper. Do we have? What mulch do we want? Do we want red mulch? Do we want black mulch? Gray mulch? Green mulch? Natural mulch? So some mulch is better than no mulch. If you happen to have a bag of the colored mulch, that'll work. Is it the best? Maybe not environmentally. The natural wood chips that come off from tree maintenance work, those are just fine for putting on the tree. Recent research by Dr. Glyn Percival with, I think with Reading University, found that a lot of myths are out there about you've got to have the wood chips decomposed a little while before you can put them on the tree. If you put the mulch on, it'll heat the root system up and kill the tree. And he found all of those myths just to be that, they're myths. So natural wood chips, they allow the tree to stay, the soil to stay moist. It protects the tree from weed whackers, etc., overzealous mowers. And in some cases, the natural properties of those wood chips leach into the soil and have some health benefits to those trees. Aspirin, for example, is made from willow. The properties of the willow wood chips, therefore, do a little bit of health benefit. You don't necessarily have to have a willow wood chips, but it's just an example of a lot of things that keep us healthy come from trees. Is there any other questions?
Will the tree bloom this year?
So here you can see that the buds are set and they're just about to break. Currently, the tree is just getting ready to go. You'll notice if you look around, some trees are already out, other trees are still about to get there. So these will be leafed out fairly soon, I would imagine. We're going to be coming by and watering these trees. If you plant a tree, you've spent a lot of money to buy the tree, spend a lot of time and effort getting it here and digging the hole, etc. Watering and care and maintenance is essential if you want success. So these trees will leaf out here pretty soon and we'll be here watering them, I imagine, on our normal schedule, like once a week. If we get some really, really hot weather, we may do a little more than that, but typically once a week we find is sufficient. Yes. So the question is, do we need to fertilize it? Fertilizer is a replacement for that which is not already in the soil. So when we take away the leaves, when we take away the animals that have unfortunately, seen their better days, all of those good things that normally would go into the soil are taken out. And fertilizer becomes necessary in some situations. But here, we're in a pretty natural area, and we've got the mulch, which will break down over time. The soil is pretty nice. There's probably a lot of worms working in there, and those worms will help to take some of that mulch on the top and add it in lower down through the profile. We'll continue to mulch, and that should be sufficient.
How do you water a tree, like a newly planted tree?
So there are some pretty basic ways to water. We can just take a bucket of water, throw it on there. We can go high tech and put gator bags or the tree diaper. And what those do is they hold the water in the area of the root zone and slowly release that water down into the roots. If you don't want to invest too heavily in a system for watering, if you take a 5-gallon bucket, which most people have, there's some big box stores that have all sorts of fun colored 5-gallon buckets, and you put a little hole in the bottom and stick that bucket on the top, that will do just as well. You know you've put 5 gallons because you fill 5 gallons of water in there. It doesn't look as great, but it does the same job. As long as we're getting that water once a week for the first probably 4 months, you can back it off as we get into the cooler weather after the summer's through. Alternatively, you can plant in the fall and you don't need to water as much in the early stage. You have to then re-water the following year after you get through the spring.
How about deer protection?
So deers, they like to rub the bark of the trees, and a deer rub tree is a tree that doesn't know it's dead yet. The likelihood of the tree surviving a good deer rub, because often after they've rubbed it the one time, they come back and have another few goes at it. It's normally the end of the tree. So deer protection, deer fence, there's lots of different types on the market. You can spend, again, an enormous amount of money, or you can go pretty cheap. One of the ways that we've found over the years works really, really well is just plain old chicken wire. You need enough to give you about a diameter of like 12 somewhat inches, so you got 6 on either side of the tree, and not secured, really. You want it to be loose. When the deer go to have a little rub on the tree, that fencing moves, and the deer doesn't like things that move. If you have a CD of someone you loved back in the day but can't stand now, take that CD, put a bit of string through the hole in the middle for, I don't know, some of you younger ones maybe not even have CDs. Get some of your parents' CDs and just hang it close to the tree. As that flicks around in the wind, the deer don't like that. You can put soap. Drill a little hole through a bar of soap and hang it on the tree. And when the water from the rain gets that soap dissolving, it has the smell of us. And the deer don't like that either. There's a bunch of different things. But a loose fence around, and they can damage all the way. We have some trees that recently were damaged. They're 6-inch diameter. So once they've gone beyond the 2, 3, 4 inches, you think you're fine. The deer, there's a lot of them around here, and they love to rub on those trees. So that's when that larger chicken wire type fencing is useful. You can put it on when the deers are active and then take it back off after they get done. Is there any other questions? Well, thank you very much. And if any of you are planning on planting a tree, you've got your tree commission, you've got the service department, arborists. We can't plant it for you, but we can definitely give you some pointers. If anyone wants, I have a tree planting guide. It's a little booklet from the United States Forestry Service. And that has information about evergreen planting, deciduous planting, and lots of little pictures to guide you on your way. So just reach out to me. I'm happy to send it to you.
Thank you. It's right over there. It's around the thing. Thank you, David and team. That was incredible. We appreciate it. At this time, we are going to turn the mic over to Avon Lake Public Works Director, John Liskovic. John?
Good afternoon. Thank you, everybody. It's kind of hard act to follow with all the information that's been provided and all the accolades that have been listed, but I wanted to just take a couple moments to talk about, community partnership. I'd like to start, with acknowledgement, which has been done, but with the Avon Lake Garden Club, with Mary Ann Stern, who had reached out to me earlier this year to talk about this, and we came up with this idea to reforest some of this area that's been modified over the past couple years for some stormwater improvements. And then collaborating with the City of Bay Village, thanks to Mayor Kumar, Director of Public Services and Properties Costello, and Urban Forester David Robinson for collaborating on this project. They supplied the Northern Catalpas, as stated earlier. And then lastly, just an acknowledgement to Public Works staff, Jeff Smith, Kyle Goodwin, and Ed Ward for having or coming out here and putting the efforts in to get the trees planted today and providing support for this event. Additionally, just wanted to touch real quick on the importance of long-term care and green infrastructure. Trees are probably one of the very few assets that you can purchase and actually acquires value over time if properly taken care of. They play a vital role, as listed before by previous speakers, to our environment, including increasing in value of your property, management of stormwater, and providing habitat for animals and insects. It's very critical to start thinking about care and maintenance the day of installation, as Urban Forester Robinson said, starting with watering, and then just taking care of your tree, annual mulching, and things like that. So it really starts at day one, but it'll pay off in huge dividends over time. So with that's about all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I would now like to introduce Jennifer Fenderbosch, Avon Lake Council President and Ward 2 Representative. First, I'd like to recognize Jennifer on her tireless work on the Tree Commission and her dedication to achieving the best stewardship of Avon Lake's urban forest.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was very lovely. Thank you. I really appreciate it. At this point in time, I'd like to have both mayors come up and both directors of the service department. And if there's anyone here from either the Bay Village or the Avon Lake Tree Commission, if they come up behind me, please. Thank you. John? Where's John? Okay. These are the people that really make it happen, and I want you to see their faces because there's tireless work that goes in. And I'm just really thank everybody that came here. It's a beautiful day. We thought we might get rained on. Earlier in the ceremony you saw where we all looked up. That's because there were 2 eagles that flew over. How blessed we are today. So I want to thank you, Mayor Spetzel, Mayor Paul Kumar, members of the Avon on the Lake Garden Club, members of both Bay Village and Avon Lake Tree Commissions, and the Public Works staff from Avon Lake and Bay Village for gathering today at Walker Road Park to celebrate Arbor Day. It's a day dedicated to honoring one of Earth's greatest treasures, its trees. Arbor Day is more than just a date on the calendar, and some of the kids are out of school today, so I'm sure that they're happy about that. But it is a powerful reminder of the vital connection between humanity and nature. Arbor Day is not just a celebration, it is a call to action. It is a reminder that each of us holds the power to make a difference, to leave a lasting legacy for generations to come. Trees are the lifeblood of our earth. You've heard from Kim Curry, the tree commissioner, how they are the silent guardians of our environment,
tirelessly working to purify our air, conserve our water, provide shade and beauty. They provide habitat for countless species. They absorb carbon dioxide and release the oxygen that we breathe. Without trees, our world would be a barren, inhospitable place. Trees are silent heroes. They reduce stress and enhance our quality of life. Trees represent growth, resilience, and hope. Every sapling planted today grows into a promise of life, hope, and a healthier tomorrow. But the importance of trees goes beyond their environmental benefits. They are the heart and soul of our communities. They are the places where our children play, where we gather with friends and family, and where we find solace and inspiration. Let us remember the importance of this day, Arbor Day, not just for the sake of tradition, but for the future of humanity. Let us continue to celebrate the power and beauty of nature by being caretakers of our planet, one tree at a time. Each tree we plant is a beacon of hope, a promise that we will do our part to protect and preserve our environment. Let us dig and plant trees with determination and pride. Let us nurture them, protect them, and water them while we watch them grow. And let us be inspired by their strength and resilience. Thank you all for being here today and for your dedication to making our world a better place. Let us celebrate Arbor Day with a renewed sense of purpose and a commitment to a greener, healthier future. Plant a tree, grow a legacy. Happy Arbor Day. Thank you for coming.